How's it, everybody? Happy Friday. And I can't believe it is Friday because I don't know where this week went, man. Last time I left you, I was working on, I don't even know, can't remember. But the big ticket item that I had remaining was Stripe payments. And so I've spent the last few days doing that and it's working. And also a lot of tweaking. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And so I've just been enjoying, fixing things around the app. But it does mean that I'm a bit delayed. So I'm probably a week over on this project, but it's not too bad. Um, it's I guess the good news is it's working, right? So I've got payments down now. I've got the extension. It's all ready. So it's a working product. So the only thing remaining is deploying this and launching it. And so I'll be doing that this weekend. But today I'm going to show you how I did the Stripe payments and how that works. So let's jump into it. So this is the same page as you guys know. Maybe I'll log out and just log in. I think it was that user. Yeah, it was. Okay. So the one thing I want to show you is I've made this nice little navigation. So like as you hover near it, it kind of just pops out. It's kind of nice. And I've done some work to make it keyboard friendly, I hope. But we'll see. And then I've created like a little profile page. So this is like pulling data from the Stripe, which is my payment provider, or the payment provider I'm using. And so this is like an active subscription, and you can then cancel it if you want to, and then a link to like the extension. So I've been doing that. So like even this little stuff, this kind of stuff it's not hard, but it just takes a bit of time to do. So I've been doing things like that. What else have I got? Pricing. So I'll log out now. So I'll show you guys the payment workflow. So got to log in. Nice little bug. Bugs, man. As you can see, it's not finished yet, but it will be. So login is my admin user, which I don't believe has a is not subscribed. Anyway, so I'm on this new payment screen. So I built this too. So like if you just want the free thing, you can click on it and it takes you to the sign up page, which I'm already logged in, so that's all good. Maybe I'll change the buttons. And then I've got these like subscribe buttons. So if I click on one of these, it does some loading, as you can see, and it redirects me to this extra page. So this is Stripe's checkout workflow. That's what they call it. And so there's a few ways you can integrate Stripe with your app. I decided to go this way since it was the sort of easiest way. And I'll show you how I do that. But the kind of workflow is you click on that button, redirects you to this page, which is actually hosted by Stripe itself. And you can then kind of enter in your details. So if I just do like a test thing here, I think you have to do 4242. Don't know why. Okay, there we go. 21. What? Okay. 3, da da da. Subscribe. It will, this is a test payment screen, but it sends me to my home screen, gives me a nice little message, which is cool. And that's it. So like now I'm subscribed. So I go to the settings. I guess it hasn't updated. Ooh. More. Okay. Yeah. Like every time I do a demo, there's some kind of thing that goes wrong. But I guess I work on that. Anyway, I should be subscribed, but that's kind of the workflow in action. And what this terminal is it's a it's kind of like Stripe's command line interface, and it's kind of just showing me the kind of requests that my server and Stripe are doing together. So you can see there's some outgoing requests and then some incoming responses or something. And so the way I've set up Stripe is I've used a library for Django, which is called DJ Stripe. And this allows me to, well, this kind of mimics all of Stripe's functionality, but in my database. So Stripe's objects that come in, for example, like when someone subscribes, this library kind of mimics what Stripe has, but on my local database. So I don't have to do Stripe API calls all the time, which are a lot slower. I can kind of just call my database directly and do stuff with that. So it's cool. And then the way it talks with Stripe is you set up a kind of what's called a webhook. And so it's basically like an endpoint on my server, which Stripe knows about. And this is what this test CLI is doing. It knows about that endpoint, and so it's doing some fake Stripe calls and stuff. But yeah, so that's cool. So I got this like cool library which does all the Stripe, does a lot of Stripe stuff for me, and then I just kind of build that workflow. So yeah, I'll show you how this works. So this is like a button, and you saw that it did some processing. So when I click it, it does a bit of loading. That's what it's actually doing in the background. Is it's doing what? Okay, it's following this tutorial on Stripe. It's called the checkout set up a subscription tutorial, I guess. So it's kind of how you set up that workflow. And what you have to do is in your on your server, you do this bad boy. So when I click that button, I do a request to my own server, which knows about the user and and also knows about all the private keys that you need to talk with Stripe. And so I can get like my API keys for Stripe, and then I do this this call. So Stripe has an API for Python, and so I kind of just call that API, and then Stripe returns an ID, a session ID. And so I think what it does is it talks to Stripe, kind of saves these details. So in this case, kind of the redirect URLs that I'm going to use, who the customer is, and what the plan is, and things like that. And so it does that call to Stripe, sends back a session ID, and then I pass that back to the client. And so on the pricing page, this is kind of what's happening. So basically, I click on that button, do a call to my own server, and then once that session ID is returned, I can then use Stripe's front-end library to perform that redirect to the checkout. And so all I'm doing is passing in that session ID. And so that way my server can handle the session ID safely. And then my front end just has to wait a bit, and then it does that redirect to the Stripe screen like I showed you. And then once that's successful or failed or whatever, it sends me back to my page or my website. So that's kind of how the workflow works. And yeah, so I was trying to read. I don't know. The whole process seemed a little more complicated than I expected, but not because of this. This is quite simple, but it was more like a lot of the guides I was reading had, I don't know, we're doing extra stuff to map the customers and the subscriptions directly to the users. But I decided just not to do with that, and instead, like if I want to check if a user subscribed, I kind of just do that on the server, and everything's linked anyway. I'm not sure if I'm making much sense with this, but basically, with that library, the Django Stripe library, all of the Stripe details are more or less synced. Hopefully, they synced one-on-one with Stripe, and then I can kind of use a few of the helper methods. So like that library has this subscriber has active subscription, and so I can use that to see if my user is subscribed. And so it's kind of just like my stuff's separate from all of that, and I just call it as needed. Whereas a lot of the guides I was reading were trying to really tightly combine all of the integration with like your actual DB objects and stuff. So I think I spent a bit more time than I planned because I was trying to follow some guides in that sense. But yeah, it seems to be working. Um, but yeah, I guess that's it for the payment stuff. Obviously, I got to fix that bug. A couple of bugs I got to fix. But yeah, so payments are working, and I'm super happy about it. So just got to fix up some things this weekend, deploy this thing, and yeah, I'll launch it on Monday. So I've got a lot of work to do still. I think. Yeah, for a few days it should be okay. But yeah, finally a week late, I can deploy this thing. Um, and yeah, then I'll start my next project. I'll tell you guys all about that in a few days. So yeah, I guess that's it for today. Just a bit of a Stripe overview. I'll update you guys once I've deployed this thing and I'm going to launch it. So I'll talk all about that as well. So see you guys then.